has the church we put our faith in really given us? That's the question TikToker Nikki Haley just forced millions to ask after her viral social experiment exposed a harsh truth. She called 26 churches, pretending to be a desperate mother out of baby formula, a baby crying in the background, and begged for help. Not money, not shelter, just milk for her child. What was she got instead? Excuses, hang-ups, and silence. Some said, we don't do that here. Others just hung up. Out of 26 Christian churches, only 3 offered real help. But when she called a mosque, everything changed. Before she could even finish explaining, the man on the phone said, where are you? What kind of formula do you need? Come, we'll help you. No hesitation, no sermon, just compassion. Now, the internet's divided, but emotional. How can so many who preach love thy neighbor fail the simplest test of kindness? This social experiment that this woman on TikTok is doing, where she's calling different churches and asking for help affording baby formula, and they're literally all turning her down, is making me embarrassed to be a Christian. Like, truly. I'm a Christian, I believe in God, but like, there are some times when I'm like, it is so hard to associate with Christianity right now, because like, there really is no hate like the Christian love. Like, I will admit that. I've seen it firsthand. It's like, and I guarantee you, I bet you, if she called a gay bar or a dive bar and was like, hey, I really need help affording formula right now, like, could you help a girl out? I bet you they'd be like, of course. And it makes you realize, like, some of the worst people you will meet are Bible thumpers, and some of the best people you will meet are just like quote unquote sinners. And we need to tax churches. I'm like so disgusted right now. I'm so embarrassed as a Christian. Like, this is disgusting.
So I'm calling your church to test to see if they would help feed a starving baby. And right now I'm about to call Woodman Valley Chapel. This is a non-denominational church providing gospel-centered teaching and worship services on weekends. And they host various community events, groups, and ministries. So let's see if they would help feed a starving baby, though.
Please hold while I try to connect you. Woodman Valley Chapel, this is Dawn.
Hi, I was wanting to see if there's any way y'all could help with a small can of baby formula.
I'm sorry, you're kind of echoing. I can't hear you. Do you have me on speaker? Can you take me off speaker?
Yeah, can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can.
I was wanting to see if there's any way y'all could help with a small can of baby formula.
I don't have any. Have you checked with, like, Crossfire Ministries?
Yeah, I have. I've been calling everywhere all day. I have a 2-month-old and she ran out of formula last night, so I'm just trying to see if somebody can get like just a small can. I mean, I can pick it up. I don't have any money.
Yeah. Do you which one of our campuses do you attend?
I'm like 10 minutes away from the one that's in Colorado Springs.
Well, we have 4 here. So which one of our campuses do you go to? Do you attend one of our campuses?
I don't attend, no. I'm just local.
Yeah. I'm just trying to. Did you try Mercy's Gate?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have any way to help you with that. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Do you have a moment? Sorry, just 1 second. I gotta turn my baby off just a second. All right, so this is actually just a social experiment to see if churches would help with a starving baby. Are you a pro-life church at all?
Yeah.
So I'm curious why you would be a pro-life church and you wouldn't help feed a starving baby that has an egg all night.
So you don't even have a baby? This was just like a test or something?
Yes. It's a social experiment to see if churches would actually help with the babies that they, are so pro-life to be here.
Yeah. Well, we believe that, Christ has called us to love our neighbors. And so So we do want to respond to the call for those who are vulnerable. And we're well aware, and as a church body, we're also helping provide like additional resources to the local ministries like Crossfire and Mercy Gate. That's what we do suggest that you actually give them a call to do that.
Okay. I'll be sure to let people know that. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
So basically what she's saying is that she's pro-life until the baby's born, because then it's no longer her problem. Now, be pro-life if you want to be pro-life. I'm not here to tell you, what to believe in. However, if you do want to sit here and preach to mothers to have their babies and to be pro-life, at least be willing to help them if they have a starving baby and somebody calls you on the phone needing help. Because this is absolutely shameful. Like, this is probably the worst call that I feel like I've gotten so far. Because she didn't even realize her own hypocrisy.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayath and Davadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. So the social experiment, yes. This video is by beloved Arrows of Indignation 144. Social experiment on Christianity, the results are, these so-called Christian churches, man, they fake the funk, so to speak. They're not about that. They're not truly 100% for the Bible, but, and they don't really know the Bible at all. They really don't. And you're supposed to be a father to the fatherless and to the widow, right? You're supposed to lead by example and help those that are in need. But these churches, man, they don't care. They're just there to collect that, that 501c3, which is that tax-free money. They'll put on a show, but they're never about it. Okay, like I said, the Most High is going to start destroying, just laying out these harlot houses that they call churches nowadays. And this woman just proved just how hypocritical and how messed up they really are. It's a damn shame. So we're going to get started with the book of James. The book of James chapter... excuse me, it's going to be James chapter 1. Let me get there. James chapter 1, verse 26. And it says, if any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. And yes, this modern day so-called Christianity is vain. They say, they seem to be religious. They say they're about it, but, they hold not their tongue. They pretty much shoot themselves in the foot with their own actions. And this lady just proved it with her little social experiment. So I'm going to read it again. James chapter 1, verse 26. If any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain, meaning it's pointless. It means absolutely nothing. Verse 27. Pure religion and undefiled before the Father, is this, to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. So, we help those that are in need, right? And how do we help those that are in need? through this knowledge, wisdom, understanding. But if you can somewhat physically help them out, by all means. And to keep himself unspotted from the world, to be blameless, to not let this world corrupt you. Okay? That saying, practice what you preach. It's true. And also, if you're going to be a man of your word, you better make damn sure that you have what better think about it before you make a vow or a promise. If not, just be quiet. And that's how we help the fatherless, this knowledge, wisdom, understanding. This is the true soul food. This is how you help help others. And I'm not saying that to go out of your way to help people, but if you can help when you can, yeah, by all means. But if you can't, just like I said, just be quiet. This is going to be Exodus. Exodus 22, verse 22. And it says, "Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child." 23. "If thou afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry." 24. "And my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless." Okay? And the whole thing with love thy neighbor, that's talking about, loving your fellow Israelite brethren, loving your fellow people of your own nation. And as you can see, these so-called Christianity churches, Esau, Edom, you can go to in fact, let me just get the script. You can go to the book of Sirach. The book of Sirach, chapter 14, verse 5. And it says, "He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods." So, that's, if you can't be good to your own people, who are you going to be good to? And, like I said, it's Esau, Edom, who set up this, these so-called Christian churches. It all stems from the Roman Catholic Church anyway. And these so-called Christian churches, they're all about Edomite supremacy anyway. And yet, look how they treat their own people. Even though this is just a social experiment, but this woman just pretty much tested their integrity and found out what they're really all about. Their religion is vain because, and the other woman that said she's rather sickened by, sickened to be a Christian because of how the Christian churches conduct themselves. Not willing to help out a starving baby, so to speak. And she said that anybody from anyone anywhere else, a sinner from a so-called flamer bar or a dive bar, they would be willing to help out. But you would think from those that say they're about this book, about the Bible, they're not willing to help out at all. So going back to Exodus 22, chapter 22, verses 23 through 24. So if you afflict the fatherless and the widow, you will be, your wives will be widows and your children fatherless. So, what comes around goes around. And trust me, a lot of you so-called Christian churches, you harlot houses, you have a terrible judgment coming. And for you, and a lot of you Jakes that are still in these churches, man, you better get out of there. You better wake the hell up. This is going to be Isaiah. It's going to be chapter 1, verse 17, and it says, "Learn to do well seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, and plead for the widow. So defend the fatherless and help the widow. Okay? So to seek judgment, to seek justice, relieve the oppressed. And who are the oppressed? The Israelites. Okay? Those that are, powerless, they can't do anything, they can't help themselves, living just above the poverty, just at the poverty line, So we have to help those that are in need. And how do we help them? Through this word. This, like I said, this is the true soul food. This is what gives people what they need. Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to be the one that's going to provide from that point on. But you got to believe and have faith. Okay? Now I'm going to close out with this. This is going to be Psalms chapter 68. It's going to be Psalms 68. Let me get there. Psalm 68 verse 5, and it says, a father of the fatherless, and a judge of the widows is the power in his holy habitation. So yes, being a father to the fatherless and a judge of the widows, this is godly conduct. To be a provider and a leader. That's godly conduct, for a man. That's what us men, the prophets, we're supposed to be providers and leaders. All right? And that's the thing about these these harlot houses, these Christian churches, man. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. And this woman just proved it through her social experiment. They're not about this life. They're not about it. It just goes to show you that Christianity is vain, man. It's vain. It is pointless. It has no value. It's of no value. It's of the world. All right, and that's all I had for this. She just exposed these churches, which was in Colorado, I believe, where she's at. But either way, man, that should really help you reconsider about these so-called churches, that they do not care. The majority of them. She said only 3 of them were willing to help, but the majority of them, they either hung up, made excuses, or, turned her down. And with that, I hope that this was edifying to the body and to the few sincere believers and listeners. And with closing, I'd like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostle of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching His word with 100% truth and sincerity, and to the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Ba'ath Dabadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom, Barakatam.